Hello there everyone, welcome back to Jack Talks Star Wars, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, The Tragedy. But before we get into the video, if you haven't subscribed already and you want to stay up to date with my Mando Explained series, be sure to subscribe, it helps the channel go a long way. Now onto the video. So, Mando takes Grogu to the planet Tython, which is home to the first Jedi Temple and a Seeing Stone. Tython is seen as one of the planets that birthed the Jedi Order, and is the first planet you go to in the Old Republic. Mando places Grogu on the Seeing Stone, initially with no sign of anything happening. But sure enough, Grogu begins crawling out through the Force. The question we all have is who is going to hear Grogu's call? I have a couple theories on this. First of all, we know that around this time, Luke would be training a young Ben Solo, around the age between 4 and 6. This would be huge if Luke made his way into the show at the end of the season, and it could mend some of the wounds left behind by the sequel trilogy for some of the fans. This would be tough to do though, as I have no doubt in this time period Luke would have no issue taking down Moff Gideon, and he may be too powerful for the show. However, Luke at this time is searching for people to build his new Jedi Order, and Grogu is clearly calling out through the Force, so that's a potential one. And if we were to get Luke, what would you guys want to see? Because we've seen Disney use de-aging technology before, but there's also lots of people who for a long time wanted Sebastian Stan to play the role as a younger Luke, but we'll have to wait and see if Luke does even show up in the first place. Next up on our list of potential Jedi is Ezra Bridger. As we looked at the last episode of The Mandalorian, I explained how Ezra was lost in space after sending himself and Thrawn into hyperspace. Now we've had the name drop of Thrawn, this means that we could potentially have Ezra enter the show, and Ezra at this time, he's probably quite proficient in the Force. Not on the level of a Luke. Luke is probably the most powerful Jedi around at this time. But Ezra would be pretty decent, and he's a character that if he did show up, obviously he's got the connections of Thrawn and Ahsoka. So that's an interesting one. And last on my list of Jedi would be Cal Kestis, who we play as in the Jedi Fallen Order game. Cal was around the same age as Kanan during Order 66, so he would be just a bit younger than Ahsoka, a few years younger than Ahsoka at this point. Cal would be an interesting one to put in, but we've had no hints as to his whereabouts, or even if he's alive in this time period, as the Jedi Fallen Order game takes place between, after episode 3, before episode 4, that time period. So I'm fairly skeptical on this one, but again, it could be something they bring in. It would be an easy casting. You just get Cameron Monaghan to play from the game. So that's our 3 Jedi. Now, potentially, we could have some people who we don't actually know. Maybe they bring in some people from Legends. I'm not sure they do that, but maybe they do. Maybe we get someone like a Kyle Katarn. I'm not sure about that though, to be honest. Also, we could have people from, they don't have to be a light side, maybe someone from the dark side. I'm not sure who that could be though. They're obviously trying to make a clone at the moment of Palpatine. That's what it seems like, at least, if they need Grogu for his midichlorian count. That's what I would assume, but I don't know, maybe they could have someone else come in. We're not 100% on this. While Grogu is crawling out, Mando looks up to see a ship coming into land. This ship is the Slave One, formerly the ship of Jango Fett, and now we see that Boba Fett has been tracking Mando all this time, ever since Tatooine. Most likely he's been tracking the armor, not Mando himself. That would be my estimation. Boba wants one thing, his armor, obviously, and before he and Mando have time to hash out a deal, an Imperial transport shows up. Mando heads straight for Grogu, while Boba and the found-to-be-alive Fennec hold off the stormtroopers. Fennec, we last saw, we thought she'd been killed, and we saw someone walking up to her, what we thought was corpse, but turns out she's alive. We'd skepticized whether this was gonna be Boba who'd gone up to her, but now it turns out that it definitely was. As they begin holding off against the stormtroopers, Boba sees his opportunity and reclaims his armor. Taking out stormtroopers with ease, using all facets of his armor, the Imperial forces retreat and head back to their transports, attempting to escape. However, Boba would fire his jetpack missile and take out both transports. Then out of nowhere, the command ship would fire and destroy the Razor Crest. That is something crazy. Is Mando going to have a new ship now? Is he going to make a new ship, or is maybe perhaps Boba will die towards the end of the season and Mando will inherit the Slave One and that will become his ship? Because at the moment he's got nothing, no ship. Aboard the Imperial cruiser, Moff Gideon commands that the Dark Troopers be deployed. We've previously seen a glimpse of the Dark Troopers in this show, but now we see them in action. And Dark Troopers are another piece of Legends material that Filoni and Favreau have brought in. The Dark Troopers were advanced droids that featured heavy plating, powerful weapons and jump packs. They came in 3 phases and were meant to be a better replacement for Stormtroopers. And now in The Mandalorian, the Dark Troopers descended and took Grogu before Mando could get to him. After this, Mando headed back to Navarro with Boba and Fennec, who had pledged themselves to help Mando get Grogu back. There they would seek help from Cara Dune. Mando looks to free Mayfeld, who we last saw in Season 1. At the end of the episode we see that Mando had captured them all, and then clearly a Republic force had come, found the prison ship that they were on, and then imprisoned them further because there was no guards left really on that ship. And what Mando needs is someone to track the Imperial cruiser that Moff Gideon is on. And meanwhile, Grogu is in the custody of Moff Gideon, who brandished the Darksaber in front of the child after Grogu had shown his Force capabilities throwing around Stormtroopers. Now, what does Moff Gideon want? Obviously he wants the midichlorians, so he calls him a donor. The blood is probably what they want because they want the midichlorians in the blood. What that's for, we're assuming it's cloning, creation of a Snoke, Palpatine, that kind of thing. And let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Where do you think it's going to go? Do you think that we will get the introduction of a Thrawn? Do you think we will get the introduction of one of the Jedi that I mentioned previously? Because we're getting to the end now. 2 more episodes, I believe. Because this was episode 6, and then there's 8 in the season. So we got 2 more to go. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.